This episode of Walking the Floor is made possible with support from Fender Play. Have you or someone you know been looking to learn how to play the guitar? Well, my friends over at Fender recently introduced Fender Play, the complete learning platform from the most trusted name in guitar. And it really is the quickest and easiest way to learn how to play, offering on-demand guitar lessons through a video-based platform designed to help you play your favorite songs and learn key skills in minutes. For your free trial of Fender Play, please visit fender.com/walking the floor. That's fender.com/walking the floor.
This is Manny Pacquaio, and you're listening and walking to the floor.
I'm walking the floor over you.
Walking the floor.
I'm walking the floor. Walking the floor over you.
Hola, senors and senoritas. This is Chris Shiflett, and yes, it's time for another exciting edition of Walking the Floor. We're getting a little outside of our comfort zone on this one. It's not a music episode. It's a boxing episode. And the guest this week is none other than Manny frickin' Pacquiao. I'll get to that intro in a minute. I will just start by saying I was sitting here in my office at home about to record this little pre-roll, and my 12-year-old son Dash walks by and goes, Dad, every time you record your podcast, it's the same thing. It's the same thing every time. And he started making fun of me. Hola, senor, blah, blah, blah. So, I feel like I got to come up with something new and exciting this time, and I don't know what that'll be, but let's try it. I got nothing. I'm just going to do the same old thing. Get your tickets now at chrisshiflettmusic.com. I'm doing tons and tons of solo dates. I'm going out on the road with Blackberry Smoke. That's going to be me with a full band playing a bunch of songs off West Coast Town and a bunch of new songs off my as yet unreleased record that's going to be coming out later this summer. And if you like the solo, acoustic, sensitive, sad, depressing side of my tunes, then come see me opening up for Elizabeth Cook. We're doing a bunch of shows all over the country. Our good friend Kendall Marvel is going to be on those shows too. And all the ticket links for all those shows are available on my website. It's a new year. Got to get out there and buy those freaking tickets, man. Again, a big thanks to Fender Play for helping make this episode of Walking the Floor free. Fender Play is the complete learning platform from the most trusted name in guitar, available on desktop and mobile, so you can learn anytime, anywhere. It's the quickest and easiest way to learn how to play the guitar, bass, or ukulele with bite-sized video lessons featuring hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of top songs and classic favorites. You'll find every song you ever wanted to learn how to play at Fender Play. And for your free trial, visit fender.com/walking the floor. And don't forget, support for Walking the Floor also comes from D'Addario. D'Addario, a fine maker of USA-made instrument strings and musical accessories, is committed to sustainability through the playback program, recycling over 1 million used instrument strings. For more information on the playback program and how to help in its mission of reaching 2.5 million strings in 2018, please visit playback.daddario.com. And last but not least, our good buddies over there at Zounds.com. Zounds.com, where you can get all your music gear related needs fulfilled in one easy purchase. And every order over $599 and above is eligible for their exclusive 12-part payment plan. There's free shipping on every single order, and most orders arrive within 2 days. So, get on over to Zounds.com. Get your Fender stuff. Get your D'Addario stuff. Zounds.com. Okay, let's get to this week's interview. All right, so this week I had the great pleasure of interviewing the only man to ever win, I think it's like 12 titles over 8 different weight classes, superstar boxer Manny Pacquiao. Now, if you've ever watched one of those HBO 24/7s or Showtime All Access shows, you know that his training camps are like kind of chaotic. And it was exactly like that. I went over to his house here in LA where he lives when he's in town getting ready to fight. And it was, there were just people everywhere. Everywhere, the whole house filled with people. It looked like even like people maybe he didn't even know coming up to him and like taking selfies with him. And I got there a little bit ahead of when we were scheduled to do it, and he was, I think, still sleeping or hadn't come downstairs. And then he came down. There's a camera crew in his living room. There's just people everywhere. You couldn't even really tell who was doing what, or if they were all like part of the, training, entourage or what was happening. Then he came over and sat down and had breakfast, and that went on for a while, and they invited me to eat with them, and that was cool. Had a nice breakfast with him and the whole crew, and then he went over and he sat down in this chair, and they had already warned me, like, nobody sits in Manny's chair. Don't sit in his chair. So I didn't sit in his chair, but he sat down in his chair, and then one of his guys was like, hey, he's looking at your guitar, hand him your guitar. And so I was like, huh? And I went over, I grabbed my guitar, I handed it to him, and Pacquiao sat there and just started doing a little finger style. Well, he was actually surprisingly good. The man can play guitar. I knew he could sing a little bit, but he sat there and he just kind of played my guitar and kind of half sang some songs, and everybody was just sitting there kind of gathered around him, like filming him, and everybody had their iPhones out. It was just crazy. So while that was going on, I went and set up my gear for the interview. He came over, sat down, we went to start the interview, and basically the whole house full of people came over and stood there with their iPhones out on us the whole time. It was the weirdest interview I think I've ever done, but he was great. He was surprisingly soft-spoken for a guy that, does what he does for a living, and has been at the center of this, Pacquiao brand for all these years. He doesn't give you a whole lot when he doesn't want to, but he was cool. Oh, I should also mention that Pacquiao is fighting Adrian Broner this Saturday night on Showtime. Tune in. It's sure to be a great fight. Broner's always fun, and it's kind of a, it's like a crossroads fight, I think, for both of them. Pacquiao is like 40 years old. Most guys are retired by his age, so he's clearly in the twilight of his career, and Broner's sort of at that point where he's lost a few fights and hasn't really ever become what everybody thought he would become, so he's fighting for that, they're both kind of fighting for their place in the 147-pound division. Okay, this is Manny Pacquiao on Walking the Floor.
And sometimes when we touch, the honesty's too much.
I know you're a singer, but I was going to start because normally I interview other musicians. It's mostly like country musicians even. But I was going to ask you about it to see if you played guitar, but I just saw that you're actually a pretty good guitar player.
I play like a little bit.
Well, yeah, you got like a nice finger style thing going. That's not easy. Did you take guitar lessons?
No, just video.
What, like YouTube?
Like practicing my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just what, off the internet?
Yeah, practicing copying the chords in the internet.
How did you get into playing music? Like, how did that start for you? Was that something you got into to sort of take your mind off boxing?
Since I was young, I love music. Love to listen music, and then I learned to play guitar. And in fact, I'm practicing also playing keyboard, piano, like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, who are your favorite bands?
Lot. I mean, like I'm listening Eagles, Bee Gees, Queen. Yeah.
Okay. So like
folk songs of Jim Croce, then John
Jim
Denver.
Croce?
Jim Croce.
Okay, so that's where the fingerstyle guitar comes from. Yeah.
Jim Croce, John Denver, like that.
Okay, so because mostly I interview like country musicians, so that actually kind of fits into the vibe of this podcast. All right. Anyway, let's talk about your upcoming fight with Adrian Broner. What do you expect out of Broner?
Broner is this kind of fighter that you cannot take him lightly.
Right.
You have to make sure that 100% condition to fight him, and you can underestimate him.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because just sitting with you here today, you look like you're in great condition and getting ready for the fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you follow Broner's Instagram. He doesn't necessarily look like he's in great condition. Do you think that he's taking it as seriously as he should?
Well, like I said, I'm not taking him lightly. I make sure that 100% I'm 100% condition in the fight, and I'm not thinking about his condition. I'm sure he has a good training camp, and he has a good trainer that training him. I believe that he's gonna be 100% condition in the fight.
I mean, do you pay much attention to what the guy that you're facing generally? Like, do you pay much attention to what's going on in their camp and what can, or do you just get ready? Do you just get ready to fight your fight, and you're not thinking about what the other guy's doing?
I just focus on my training, focus on my fight. I'm not thinking about the other side.
Why Broner right now, in where he's at in his career and where you're at in your career?
I believe Broner,
to me it seems like almost like a not like, I don't expect him to win, but it seems like he's a guy that can be hard to look good against.
Yeah, Broner's. I believe that we can give a good fight, and we can entertain the fans, boxing fans.
Right. I mean, I think of him as like kind of a Floyd Mayweather light. Are you looking at this as like something to get ready for a possible rematch?
Well, his style is similar to Floyd Mayweather, but that's why. But I'm not thinking about Floyd. I'm thinking about Broner. His style and how he moves like that, and also he's young, so.
At this point in your career, what are you working on in a training camp?
We don't change our style, but we apply some techniques that can be used in Broner's style in the ring.
So you still get into technique stuff. It's not just about conditioning and getting ready.
Yeah, techniques. The way you throwing punches. Make sure that it's accurate and usable to Broner's style, and then this training camp we do differently compared to when I was late 20s, early 30s. So. Because I'm 40 years old, so I have to adjust my body. And
does your body feel different? Like, do you feel different now with endurance or recovery?
My body is still okay. I feel good, but what I'm talking about is when you work hard. It's not like before that overnight you can recover right away your strength that you spent in the day on your heavy training. This time is when you push yourself to hard work. Sometimes in overnight it's not enough to recover those strength that you spend on the day.
And what is what's Freddie's role in the camp now? Because he was not with you for your last fight, but he's back now, right? Is he head trainer, or is Boo Boy head trainer? Who's the head trainer now?
Freddie and Boboy, both of them they're talking each other. Sometimes we do meet with Freddie, and sometimes Boboy. So helping each other.
Right.
They're not competing each other. They're helping each other for the benefit of all of us.
But how do you, as the boss of the whole thing, like, how do you manage everybody's egos?
Well,
because in watching like 24/7s or whatever over the years, like your camps are sort of like notoriously chaotic with a lot of big egos in there. Strength and conditioning people and trainers and all that sort of thing. How do you keep everybody in check?
What we did is we openly talk each other. We openly have a meeting and discuss each other. So that's what we did, because if there's no meeting or conversation to each other, it's gonna be the ego will come. So let's build our relationship to each other, not only for the fighter but for the team as a one team.
And you and Freddie are good now. Did you guys have like a falling out or something?
No. Well, we don't have problem with Freddie since before.
Like, what are you still hoping to achieve in boxing? Like, I know you've got, you know, a lot of other things going on in your life, not the least of which is your political career. But as far as boxing goes, what do you still want to do?
If you think about hoping to achieve, I achieve what I want and more than beyond of my expectation.
Sure, like you've been at the
Yeah.
tippy top of boxing
Yeah.
for a long time. So what's left out there that you still want to do before you hang it up?
I just
You know,
want
of course,
to.
most people are retired by the time they're.
I'm
they're
just
40 years old.
you know, because like I said, this is a real I really love. This is my passion, and I'm happy bringing honor to my country and doing in the ring, and people are happy because bringing honor to my country, and of course every time that I have a fight, Filipino people are united. You know, even in that moment, at least there is a zero crime in the Philippines, and I'm happy with that. Happy to bring honor to my country.
And who do you want next? Assuming everything goes well with Bronner, what are you looking to next? Because there was some talk recently that you and Mayweather had been in talks about a rematch. But then I also hear that you might fight the winner of Garcia Spence.
Well, what I did right now is not thinking about the next fight, but one at a time. Focus in this fight, and then after that, let's talk about the next fight. Just one at a time, because
So working with Al Heyman isn't like part of a larger plan, because for people that aren't boxing fans that are listening, like there's that thing nowadays
Yes.
where the promoters sort of fight only the guys within their stable.
Yes, part of a larger plan, because being partnered with Al Heyman, I'm so thankful with him for this agreement and this partner with him, because I can give a chance to my fighters to fight here in America. I have a lot of fighters.
The fighters that you promote.
Yeah, promote.
Okay.
In my promotion, MP promotion, we have I have almost 50 boxers, which is world caliber. So they have a chance to showcase their talents here in America.
Okay, I didn't realize that that's what it was. I thought that you were working with Heyman just for you, but it's for your promotion.
Yes,
company as well.
promotional. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Now, how come that didn't wind up going through Top Rank after all those years with Aram?
I'm trying that before, but I understand that Top Rank has I understand that no hard feeling. Top Rank has a lot of fighters, so it's hard to but this agreement that we have with Al Heyman is it's big opportunity for my fighters to have a fight here in America.
Okay. So when you look back at your career, like what are the moments that is there like one defining moment that you're proudest of? Your favorite KO, your favorite, any moment from throughout your career that
I
sort of
think
sticks
the
out.
moment is when I bring honor to my country.
Right, but any specific fight?
A specific fight, not only fight, but not only one fight, but I think there's a couple fights. One of those is De La Hoya fight.
Right.
Yeah, De La Hoya fight.
Right,
Because
right.
nobody expect me that I can fight in that weight division.
Because you were actually like considered the underdog going into that fight, right?
From 130, 135 pounds and moving up to 147, so
Right.
nobody will believe. They said, "Oh, this is just a computer."
Do you look back at that time? I mean, that catapulted you into a higher weight class, and then you wound up, you came back down to 140 for the Hatton fight, and then went back up to 147. Do you regret moving up to the higher weight class so soon instead of staying down around 130, 126, 130 a little bit longer? Because to me, those fights were so exciting. That's when all those blistering knockouts were happening. Do you look back and think like, oh, maybe I should have taken care of business a little while longer?
I'm thinking about that before to move back to 135, 140, but the thing is, I already started in 147. I mean, most of the fighters that world caliber fighter is in 147. So
Right, the big fights were there.
the big fight is 147. So I'm obligated to fight in 147.
What, like, how much do you weigh when you're just walking around between camps?
Just 150.
So you just have to get it. So you're like basically in shape to fight all the time.
Yeah, but-
So could you still get down to like 135? Could if
Yeah, I
a
guess
big
so.
fight came up, have you ever entertained that now at like sort of the later stage of your
I
career?
can still going down to 135, 140 like that.
Do you is that being discussed at all?
We discussed that.
Go
but-
down, fight Lomachenko or one of these guys that's at like a
Oh
smaller weight.
yeah. I don't think they will give it to me.
Okay, enough about that. Are you in a contract with Heyman, or is that like a free agency thing? Because like what I was talking about before, you know, you have this silly thing in boxing where if you're with this one promoter, if you're with Golden Boy, you only fight Golden Boy fighters. If you're with Top Rank, you only fight Top Rank fighters. If you're with Heyman, you only fight Heyman fighters, which has always confused me, like why that exists. Like why, when you look back at say like the Mayweather fight of yours was like maybe the most glaring example of that, where it just took so long to get that fight made that it was like 6 years too late. You know, how come can the top professional boxers just tell their promoters and their networks like, no, I'm gonna fight from outside of your stable and you need to make it happen? Why is the power with the promoter?
It depends of a fighter if he's under contract with the promoter, and then you have to get permission from. You can fight outside the promotion, but you have to get permission from the promoter
Right.
that you have an agreement on.
But I mean, why is it the promoter's choice? How come the big star boxers can't just say, no, I'm not going to sign a contract with you unless this is part of the deal,
I
that
think,
I'm going to fight whoever I want to fight and you got to go make it happen because you work for me, ultimately.
I think the fight it's possible if both promoter will talk. I mean,
Right. But they never do. I mean, they like, you know, that's why it takes so long to get, for all these things to
I know,
get made.
I know.
You know?
I think that's what we need to change.
Right. What is your relationship now with Mayweather? Are you guys friendly? I mean, there was so much bad blood leading up to that fight. You know, a lot of like terrible stuff kind of going back and forth in the press for a really long time. Do you guys do you communicate now?
No, we don't.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah. We just meet. What is that? In Japan last August. August, right? August.
Right. You two guys.
Yeah, we met in Japan and then
But how is that when you're in a room together?
in music festival.
Right.
We met there.
But is he like, hey, sorry, I said all that terrible stuff about you. It was just to promote the fight, you know? Whoops.
He approached me. He went to my group, my table, and he said,
All right.
"Yeah, let's go fight." And then he wanted to challenge me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So he wants to do the rematch.
he do that. And
Did
when-
you watch his fight the other night, that exhibition fight?
Yeah, I saw that exhibition match. It's I can't believe an exhibition that resulted to knockout. It should be exhibition is for fun. I mean, for fun to watch and the people.
Right.
Yeah, entertain people.
Right. Instead of going out there and knocking the guy out
Uh-huh.
in the first round. Right. I mean, do you think that there's a hunger from the public to see a rematch? Do you think people want to see that?
Well, if it's I think so. People want they want a rematch, but he's retired. So,
Right.
but I'm still here. If he's coming back, then
What would you do different the second time around? I mean, you got your shoulder fixed.
there's no excuses, and then I will do my best. I will prove to the people, to the fans, that I'm the winner.
But tactically, how would you change your approach?
My approach is, I think, is different because I learned in the past. So that's gonna be That's gonna be lesson to learn the last fight.
It's interesting watching Mayweather in his retirement years, you know, with the fighting Conor McGregor and this guy. He's much more like come forward. He's like a come forward fighter now, like banger now. You know what I mean? He's not the slick, boring boxer he was for most of his career. He seems like he's gotten more entertaining. Do you think he would try to fight you like that?
I don't think if he will do that to me.
Got it. Okay, what motivated you? Like, why did you want to get into politics? I don't know anything about the political system of the Philippines, but here in America we have a very dysfunctional political system. Why would you want to get into that? It seems like with boxing, boxing's very immediate, and politics is the opposite of that.
Like I said, boxing is my passion and public service is my mission. There's a lot of people need help.
Right.
Real help.
But helping people in terms of like legislation and passing laws, that's very slow. And I imagine probably just the same as it is here, it's mired in special interests and corruption and all that sort of stuff. So how have you found that? Do you feel like you've been able to do some good?
Yes, I did a lot of things in the Senate, and then I discovered a lot of problems in the Philippines being a senator. Since I became a public servant, I realized the problem in our country is so big that need people, sincere people, to serve honestly, to solve those problems.
What are the political parties over there? Like, do you have is there what would be the Democrats? What would be the Republicans over there?
Oh, in the Philippines, a lot of parties. Not only 4, 5 parties. A lot of parties.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And which party are you? Like, where do you sit politically? Like
the president, same party with the president.
Okay. And do you think in the future that I've heard whispers of possible run for the presidency over there?
Well,
or is it too early to discuss?
Too early. I'm not thinking about that. Although people are talking about that I'm the next to the president, but I'm not commenting on that. I'm just focused as a senator, doing my job in the Senate. And
it seems like for somebody that's as beloved as you are, that risking politics seems to end bad for a lot of people. Like that seems like a big risk to your sort of public image.
Well, my first year in public service, I got discouraged over what I discovered.
Right.
Problems in the Philippines, like that. But I was thinking if I'm going to to stop and to be effective with this discouragement, who else? Who will serve honestly?
Right.
Who will help them?
If not you, then who?
That's right. I mean, for me, I'm sure people can trust. Even they don't trust some of them that they don't trust me, but they can trust me because I have a sincere heart. I've been there, being poor, being nothing, being in need. I experienced that. That's why I want to serve them. And then I told them, I told them, if I am corrupt politician, I wouldn't give my money back to you, my hard-earned money in boxing. I wouldn't give my money to you, giving shelter, building a subdivision, giving free to the family, everything, scholarship, with my own pocket. I would give you that if I'm a corrupt politician. So, but I just want to help the people who are in needs, because I feel their feeling. I'm not only knowing their problems, but I feel their problems. I feel their feeling being need because I've been there. We've been there
Sure.
in that situation.
Well, that's an interesting thing. You know, oftentimes people who come from hard scrabble upbringings and then go on to have a lot of success sort of forget where they came from.
Yeah. But for me, because I have a good, building relationship in. For me as a person, I my concern is my relationship to God, building my relationship to God, and part of those is helping the poor, doing the right thing of what God has want us to be. That's what I'm doing. I mean, all this Manny Pacquiao is existing here in this world in a short time. Our life here in this world is short, so I grab this opportunity that I can help people.
All right. Well, last question. Who are the up-and-coming fighters that you are a fan of? Who do you like to watch? Who are the guys, like, out of the top guys out there right now? Who are you into?
There's a lot. Like Lomachenko. It's good. The fans can be happy to watching him. Canelo. There's a lot more. But I have a lot of fighters in the Philippines that need more exposure exposure here in the United States. So
Who do you think won the Canelo Triple G rematch?
Triple G. It's a close fight, but people saying that Triple G.
Right.
Yeah.
Who do you think won the first one?
The first one. Just the last one that I saw.
All right. I won't press you too hard. Thank you. This has been one of the most memorable interviews I've ever done, man. I really appreciate it, man. It's been great. Most people play a song at the end. So if you want to sing a song, we could be happy to tape that. But I know you have work to do, so I'm not gonna hold you too much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Too much, and I have to close my eyes in high.
All right, that was global icon and boxing superstar Manny Pacquiao on this week's Walking the Floor. Make sure you get on over to walkingthefloor.com. I'm going to put up a bunch of links so you can check out everything that Pacquiao's up to, and make sure you tune in and watch him on Saturday night when he fights Adrian Broner on Showtime. I would be remiss if I didn't just address... I saw a lot of commentary on the pictures that I posted of me with Pacquiao and when I was talking about interviewing him and stuff. There were a lot of comments that people were, upset that I had interviewed him at all because, I don't know if you know it or not, but Pacquiao has said some horrible things in the past about homosexuality. And I think it's safe to say that I do not share his worldview. I do not share his religious views. I do not share his political views. We probably look at the world very differently. And it was a decision I made during the interview to not get into that stuff too much. I kind of wanted to talk to him about politics, but I could tell that he wasn't really going to open up with me about that, and I think that his remarks about homosexuality were a few years ago, and I think he's addressed that a bunch. And suffice it to say, we simply do not view that issue the same way. So, I totally understand if people get upset about me interviewing him. You have every right to. I don't know. It's a judgment call. I probably don't share the same worldview as 98% of the people I have on this show for various reasons. And I try not to limit myself to only talking to people who I agree with. But if you were upset, I get it. I hear you. But it's out there. All right, that's it for this week. Thanks again to Fender Play for their support. If any listeners are interested in learning how to play the guitar without the usual hurdles, check out a free trial by visiting fender.com/walkingthefloor. That's fender.com/walkingthefloor. I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Don't know who the guest is going to be. Ooh, I think, you know what? I think it's going to be Shooter Jennings. I think that's who we're doing next. Back in a couple of weeks with Shooter Jennings. That's it. Adios, amigos!